Have you ever noticed how some people move through life as if they're trapped in an endless soap opera? If someone cuts them off in traffic, they take it as a personal attack. If a friend takes too long to reply, they feel betrayed. If the barista gets their order wrong, it's a full-blown outrage. Yet, there are those rare, almost mystical beings who seem unbothered by anything. They glide through life like a breeze, untouched by the chaos the rest of us drown in. Someone insults them, they shrug. An unexpected setback, they adjust without a second thought. It's as if they exist on an entirely different frequency from the rest of the world, operating on a wavelength where nonsense simply doesn't stick. Now here's the real question. What do they know that we don't? Because let's be honest, most people live like human pinballs, ricocheting from one emotional reaction to the next, completely at the mercy of their surroundings. If the weather is bad, they're unhappy. If someone doesn't text back, their self-esteem plummets. If a stranger gives them an odd look, they'll spend the next 3 hours analyzing it like a detective working a high-profile case. And we've all been there. Maybe not all the time, but enough to recognize how exhausting it is to let irrelevant things hijack our mental space. So what separates the reactive from the untouchable? It's not luck. It's not some innate superpower. It's not because they've spent years meditating on a mountaintop, perfecting their emotions like a Zen monk. No, it's something far simpler. They've stopped participating in a game that was rigged from the start. Most people operate under a fundamental misunderstanding. They believe their emotions are controlled by the outside world, when in reality, it's their own interpretation of events that wreaks havoc. Let's break it down as simply as possible. If someone flips you off in traffic, you have two choices. You can take it personally, let it ruin your day, and rant about it for hours. Or you can shrug, assume they're having a worse day than you, and keep moving. Same event. Two entirely different outcomes. The only difference? The meaning you assign to it. And here's where things get wild. This applies to everything in life. That harsh comment from a stranger, it only stings if you let it. That rejection, it only defines you if you allow it. That bad day, it only ruins your week if you replay it on loop like a bad Netflix show. The truth is, the majority of what bothers people happens in their minds, not in reality. They're stuck in a cycle of reacting, not choosing what deserves their energy. And once you truly grasp this, not just intellectually, but in your bones, everything changes. The world no longer happens to you. You begin to experience it on your terms. Now, the real question is, how do you flip this switch? Because once you do, life will never feel the same again. Let's get to it. You now know the secret. It's not what happens to you, but how you interpret it. But let's be real. Knowing this in theory and actually living it are two very different things. Because when life throws something personal at you, when someone disrespects you, when a situation feels unfair, it's incredibly easy to forget everything and revert to old patterns of reacting. So how do you train your mind to become immune to these minor annoyances? How do you reach a point where nothing and no one can shake you anymore? It all starts with a simple yet powerful shift. Stop giving your energy away for free. Most people hand over their peace of mind like it's a promotional giveaway. A random person online leaves a negative comment. They spend 2 hours mentally arguing with them. Someone gives them a strange look in public. They overanalyze every past interaction. A minor inconvenience occurs. That's it. The day is ruined. It's like owning a business and giving away all your inventory for free. At some point, you have to start charging. You have to start asking yourself, does this person's opinion pay my bills? Will I remember this situation a week from now? Is this really my problem, or am I just absorbing someone else's negativity? Because here's the thing, 90% of what stresses people out isn't theirs to carry. Someone is rude to you, that's their problem. Someone doubts you, that's their limited mindset. Someone disrespects you, that says more about them than it does about you. When you react, when you get upset, when you let something control your emotions, you're essentially saying, here, take my peace. I don't need it. But your peace of mind is your most valuable asset. And the people who truly win at life, the ones who move through the world unshaken, have realized that most things aren't worth their time. And when you adopt this mindset, something strange starts to happen. People who once held power over you suddenly lose it. The things that used to ruin your day barely register. The world feels lighter because you've stopped carrying what was never yours in the first place. And once you taste this level of mental freedom, there's no going back. The final piece of the puzzle. But there's a way to take this even further. To not just be unaffected by the world, but to use it to your advantage. Here's the truth. Most people don't actually want control over their emotions. They say they do. They claim they seek inner peace, but when life throws something annoying at them, they always take the bait. Their boss sends a frustrating email, they mentally draft their resignation letter. Their phone dies at 1%, clearly the universe is conspiring against them. It's as if people enjoy being controlled by their emotions. They'll say things like, "I can't help it. That's just how I am." But here's the real kicker. When you stop reacting, you win. Not just in your personal life, but in every area. There's a reason the most powerful people in any situation, whether it's a high-stakes negotiation, a social interaction, or even an argument, always remain calm. When you lose control of your emotions, you surrender leverage. If someone knows how to trigger you, they own you. If a situation gets under your skin, it controls you. If your emotions are constantly reacting to the world will dictate your reality. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine becoming someone who simply doesn't take the bait. A passive-aggressive comment, you don't even flinch. Someone trying to test you, they get no reaction. Life throws an unexpected challenge your way. You adapt and keep moving forward. This isn't about ignoring problems, it's about refusing to let problems define you. And when you master this, people start treating you differently. They test you less. They respect your space. And the best part, you begin making decisions based on logic and intention, not emotional reflexes. Because here's what most people don't realize. When you react emotionally, you're on autopilot. And the world preys on predictable people. Marketing teams exploit your impulses. Toxic people thrive by getting under your skin. Systems of control rely on those who can't detach. But when you stop being easily moved, when you become an observer instead of a reactor, you gain something 99% of people will never have: true freedom. And in that space where nothing outside of you dictates your internal state, you begin to truly live on your terms. How to actually implement this? Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great in theory, but how do I actually make it stick? Because let's be honest, if detachment were easy, everyone would do it. The truth is, most people are unconsciously conditioned to react. We've been wired since childhood to respond quickly to external stimuli. Someone insults you, you feel the need to defend yourself. A frustrating situation arises, you vent. It's like living life with an open control panel, where anyone, your boss, a stranger, a social media post, can walk up and press your buttons at any time. But what if you could turn off that control panel entirely? Step 1. Observe, don't absorb. Most people soak up every situation like a sponge. If someone is stressed around them, they become stressed. If someone is rude to them, they take it personally. Instead, practice becoming the observer. Let's say you're in a coffee shop and the barista snaps at you for no reason. The average person absorbs that energy immediately. Why is she so rude to me? I didn't do anything wrong. Their mood is now affected. But the observer sees the same situation without absorbing it. She must be having a rough day. The event still happened, but the difference is, it didn't enter your system. This is detachment in action. You allow the world to move around you, not through you. Step 2. Master the pause. Have you ever noticed how most regrettable decisions are made in the heat of the moment? That's because emotional reactions override logic. They hijack your brain. The fix? Pause. Someone says something offensive? Pause. Anxiety creeps in? Pause. The urge to argue arises? Pause. That brief moment of stillness gives your brain a choice: react automatically or respond intentionally. And that choice is where all your power lies. Here's a pro tip. Before responding to anything, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Because 99% of the time, it's not. Step 3. Starve the drama. Drama thrives on reactions. Gossip spreads when people engage. Toxic people stay when they get a response. Arguments escalate when both sides participate. But when you stop feeding the system, it collapses. Imagine someone tries to pick a fight with you, and instead of reacting, you just smile and walk away. They're left completely powerless because provocation seeks control, and you gave them nothing. That's why the most dangerous person in any room is the one who refuses to take the bait. Reprogramming your emotional responses. At this, you might be thinking, okay, but what about when emotions feel overwhelming? There, question. That's where rewiring your brain comes in. Step 1. Train your mind like a muscle. Emotions aren't wild beasts, they're muscles you can train. Some people stay calm under extreme pressure because they've conditioned their nervous system to respond differently. Your brain has default pathways, habits it follows based on past experiences. If your brain has always associated stress with panic, it will keep reacting that way. If it's wired to respond to criticism with defensiveness, that reaction will happen automatically. The solution? Interrupt the pattern. Next time you're about to react emotionally, pause and ask, what if I responded differently this time? Instead of irritation, try smiling. Instead of defensiveness, try silence. Instead of panic, take a deep breath and observe. At first, your brain will resist. It'll scream, no, we have to react. This is how we've always done it. But if you keep resisting that urge, your brain will eventually rewire itself. And one day, you'll notice something unusual. Situations that used to trigger you no longer do. The old response just isn't there anymore. That's when you know you've won. Step 2. Control your inner narrative. Most people don't realize that their inner dialogue shapes their emotions. The next time something bothers you, ask yourself, what story am I telling myself about this? Is this interpretation actually useful? Because 90% of the time, it isn't. Step 3. Emotionally disarm others. Here's a trick that will transform your life. When people expect a reaction from you and get none, they're completely disarmed. Ever seen someone insult another person, only for the target to laugh and agree? You're so stubborn. Yeah, it's one of my best qualities. You never take things seriously. I try not to. That's emotional Aikido, using their energy against them. The less reactive you are, the more respect you gain. People test you to see how much control they have over you. When they realize you're untouchable, they back down. The bottom line, being unshakable isn't about never feeling emotions. It's about not letting them control you. It's deciding, do I let this define me, or do I define it? When you stop reacting to what doesn't matter, you start living on your terms. And that's when everything changes. If this resonated with you, let me know. Because this is just the beginning. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.